What's good, chat? So today I'm just going to stream and I'm not going to show my face. Let's do audio today. So matter of emergency. Matter of emergency. Matter of emergency. Alright, so today, yes, we're going to finish up what we started. We're going to finish up what we started. We're going to finish up what we started. Okay. 10 views. Oh yeah. So let's get it. Let's get it. We're supposed to be talking about JWT and 2FA on this stream, right? So I'm going to share. I'm already sharing my screen ASAP. No time. I'm already sharing my screen ASAP. All right. So yeah, I I love this topic because it is a very interesting one, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to our normal Escalade draw, which is where we dissect everything. Don't mind what you're seeing here. This is just a cruise for now. Hold on. Energy, 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 energy. Yo, bro, we just hit our first 16 views on this stream. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh, dude, this is our first 16 views on this.
Oh my god! Wow! Oh my god!
That's crazy. That's crazy, guys. All right. So 2FA, basically, um, I'm going to be dissecting 2FA as a topic, right? Now, a password alone proves one thing. A password alone proves one thing. You know a secret, right? That's basically what a password does. A password alone proves one thing. It means that you know a secret. It doesn't prove the secret has been stolen or something, right? It means that you know a secret, but you don't know if the secret has been stolen. Now, 2FA, right, which is two-factor authentication, I'm going to do that here. So I'm going to ungroup this, Shift Control G, and I'm going to take this guy, I'm going to duplicate it and put it here. I'm going to do factor two factor authentication, right? So I think this is grouped. I need to ungroup it. Expand this. You're wondering why we always like doing this particular thing every time, right? So two-factor authentication adds like a second independent proof to your account. It adds like a second independent proof to your account. It's more like something you have or something you are. Okay, so two-factor authentication is like adding like an extra layer to what you already have, right? To what you already have. So you have a password. A password is like a secret, but this password cannot be proven to not to have been stolen, right? We don't know if it has been stolen yet, right? Now, what this means is that's where the two-factor guy now comes in. Two-factor enables you to add like a second layer to your security, right? It's more like an independent proof, okay? It's something you have or something you are. Take it like that. Take that as something you have or something you are. So when a password gets exposed, it's enough for your account to be vulnerable, right? The moment a password gets exposed, your account is vulnerable because someone can easily get access to your account. But if you have two-factor authentication available on your account, what this means is before someone is able to try to get in, probably they must have used the password, right? Yes, when they use the password, they now have to verify that, okay, this is actually you giving, trying to gain access to this account, right? Now, what this also means is it gives you, the owner of the account, the control over your account, right? Because someone cannot just randomly come and log into your account without you knowing. They will need a code. Probably you are using, there are different methods that you can use. You can use an OTP, you can use email OTP, you can use Google, either of the authenticator apps, likes of Google authenticators and the rest, right? So let's look at something here. This is the chain when someone tries to gain access to your account in the first place. For example, if someone has access to your account, if they have access to your password, right, this is how the chain is going to look like. First, they need to enter a password, right? And when they enter a password, the password needs to be what? The password needs to be verified, right? So this guy comes to your account, logs in, enters your password, and then the system does what? The system checks if this password actually exists, right? So the system does what? The system verifies, does like a password verified, right? Now, when your password is being verified, or when your password has been verified, you move to the next stage, providing that you have a two-factor authentication enabled on your account, right? What this now means is this person now has to pass through this extra layer of security, right? They need to now pass through this layer of security where the two-factor authentication is sent. So we have different type of two-factor authentication. We have the SMS OTP, right? We have the email OTP. We have the authenticator app OTP, which is like the TOTP. That's the TOTP. That's the authenticator app or the OTP, right? Then we have another one called the hardware. We have the hardware, right, or passkey. If you are familiar with Windows, or I don't know, probably if it's on Mac OS, right? But if you're familiar with Windows, you know that most of the Gmails to be able to log into a particular account. If you enabled it, you have to use your passkey, right? You can enable a passkey on a particular account or on a particular website, right? Meaning that before your credential is logged in on that website, they need to enter your laptop passkey. You understand? So we have the four common types of OTPs. We have the SMS OTP, we have the email OTP, we have the authenticator app TOTP, then we have the hardware OTP, right? The hardware or the passkey. Now, we're going to explore each of these guys, right? So if you have, for example, your SMS OTP enabled on your account and someone eventually probably must have gotten access to your account, right? Your password, right? They illegally got your password, right? And they go ahead to want to use your password. When they log in, the password is verified in the system, right? Most system, what they do is the moment the password is verified, an OTP is sent, providing that the account enabled OTP. That is the reason why it is important that there's always like an extra security layer on every social account that you have, be it social or business account that you have. Always try to enable your OTP. And people have this problem of not knowing how to remember their OTPs, right? They don't know. They have this issue with remembering which account they store their or rather they use, right? So it's always important that you write down whatever it is. So sometimes for an OTP, right? In most cases, you have to enter like a particular passphrase and all those stuff, right? Yes, passphrase. I just mentioned passphrase. Some platforms go as far as including passphrase as an extra security layer, right? Passphrase is like the top level of it because if someone doesn't have your passphrase, they won't be able to get access to whatever it is that you have going on your account, right? So, for example, you have your banking app. It's always important that you enable all your security channels that you have available or you have at your disposal on any bank application that we are using, right? Talk of SMS OTP, talk of email OTP, talk of authenticator, talk of maybe what's it called? Passphrase. Passphrase is cases where they will now ask you to enter your mother's maiden name, what's your favorite sport, those funny questions. Yes, right. Then case we're still on this when someone enters your password and the system verifies that this password is legit, right? What do? They go ahead to send, if you enabled an OTP, probably SMS or email, they send OTP token to whichever email that you attach to, that is attached to your account. I'm so sorry. Or they send it to whichever phone number that is also attached to your account if you're using SMS. Right. Now, if you are able to, I think I have a video that I'm going to show you on how hackers are now getting really smart with this whole trying to get access to one's account, right? I have a video. Some people go as far as when they initiate this, because they have access to your contact, they place a phone call to you and say, "Oh, we noticed like a fraudulent activity going on in your account, and we need your authorization to secure it." Right? Don't fall for that. It happens mostly in banking sector, right? They call you and tell you that, "Oh, we noticed some transactions going on in your account, and we are reaching out because we want to be able to stop that before it goes the other way around, right? If you are not smart enough and you go ahead to answer their questions, right? They've literally been able to get access to your account, and that's where you see most people they get to lose their accounts to, you know, scammers, right? So, my advice is whichever accounts that you have, be it in bank, whatever it is that you know that is important to you, right? Maybe you use it for your business. It's always important that you enable two-factor authentication if it is available. Always enable it if it's available for you. It is very important. It's going to save you at some point. Majority of my accounts are two-factor enabled, right? So meaning that before you can be able to gain access to some certain level in my account, you must have been able to, pass through extra process, right? So that being that, um, the four common types of the four common type, I call it the. I'm just trying to speed up this stream, right? I call it the four common types and the ranked weakest, the strongest, right? So type of OTP, and we're going to be ranking it from the weakest one, which is the easiest one that scammers can always get access to, right? The easiest one that scammers can always get access to without you having to do so much. They will literally have access to it, right? And the first one on the list is called the SMS OTP. Yes, you heard me right. The SMS OTP is the easiest to gain access to in terms of OTP level, right? So SMS, this guy can easily be bypassed. It can easily be bypassed, right? So that's why I don't usually do I don't usually do SMS OTP, right? Cases where you lose your SIM card or cases where there is this vulnerable to there is this SIM swap that would happen, right? You probably will know, right? So you just end up losing your account because of this guy, which is the SMS guy, right? Then we have the second layer again, which is weak, but not that weak. So first of all, we're going to tag this guy as weakest, right? So SMS is the weakest. It's not. I'm not advising you to use SMS OTP for your accounts, right? And then we have the other one, which is the email OTP, right? For email OTP is okay, right? But the thing is, it is tied to an email account security. So this means that you must try everything within your power to ensure that your email doesn't get exposed, right? Your email is not being accessed by the wrong person, because if the wrong person have access to your email account, they can literally have access to whichever account that you enabled OTP for, right? Whichever account that you enabled OTP for, they will literally have access to it. So it is best. Okay, yeah. So best option, right? If you're using email OTP, try as much as you can to keep your credentials, which is your email login, safe, just so you don't attract attentions or have it. If you have it exposed, that's it. Literally, like they can have access to your account and everything, right? And that's basically a problem. So this is I'll tie this to be better, right? This is better, but we know that you have to secure your email account properly, right? Then we have the one that I love, but it's quite stressful. Trust me, it's quite stressful, but it is what the setup, right? And that is authentication, the authenticator, the authenticator app. So if you are familiar with authenticator apps, likes of Google or Microsoft authenticators, I think there are other platforms now coming up um, with their own authentication as well, with their own authentications as well. likes of likes of say Zoho, likes of Zoho. Sorry, I'm coming. Just give me a minute. Likes of Zoho. Zoho have their own authenticator app. They call it the One Auth. Yes. So if you're familiar with Zoho Mail, yes, they have their own authenticator app, right, that they use. Yes. So authenticator app are very important. They are also very good. I love authenticator apps. Yes. But one thing with authenticator app is likes of Zoho, if you lose your passphrase or you're not able to get into your account or you don't remember, probably you change your device, right? Because most of them are usually tied to devices, right? So probably you change your device and you try to gain access again and you are not able to remember those things, right? What this will now mean is that what this will now mean is that you now have to start resetting the entire thing. And when you reset the entire thing, it becomes a problem, right? Because now you literally don't have access to it again, right? So that's so if you're using authenticator app, most of these things they have their disadvantage and advantage. Yes, true. But if you're using authenticator app, just try to have the necessary credentials available to your disposal, right? So that it's easy for you to always get access to it. So for for authenticator app, I'm going to rate it strong, right? Strong, and I think some of them do work offline. Yeah, I think some of them do work offline too, right? So I'm just going to say works offline. Right. Yep. So authenticator app is nice. Then we have this guy. This guy is the strongest, right? This is the strongest, but people don't usually go for it because they find it to be very stressful, right? Um, I'm going to bring down this so I can be able to list the fourth guy, right? So let's do this. And the fourth guy is the hardware. Yes, the hardware, the hardware or the hardware key or the what's it called? What's that thing called again? Passkey. Yep, passkey. Right. Hardware, the hardware key or the passkey. Now the hardware key are usually with all those Face ID, the video tool, the YubiKey. They are ones that you have to even use your flash drive to enable, right? So you need your flash drive before you can be able to get access to the account. Now those are like top level, right? They are rated strongest. It's it I would say is it prone, but is yes, it's prone to phishing, right? Is a phishing resistant setup. Yes, right. So we've been able to look at this. I'm going to rate this guy the strongest though. So I don't know what you think. If you think, just drop your comments in the chat, which you think works for you and which you think you'd always go for, right? And what you think about this conversation we're having right now, or this section. If you think it's actually worth your time, then and you've actually learned something, always do well to drop like a chat in the chat so that we'll always do like a more better video to educate and of course share more insight. Yep. What's this? Yeah. So I'm going to do some paparazzi. Let's do some paparazzi. So we're supposed to send this to the back. Wait, what? Send to the back. Okay. Then let's change the color to red. Okay, that's not. Ah, could have taken other colors now, bro. All right, let's give him that. Then this is better. We'll just give it, something small. Center back. This is shift control. Active. Let's give it this. Let's give it this. No, no, let's give it. Oh wait, what? Oh, okay. This guy. Yo, why do I spend my time? Why do I like doing this? Okay, let's give him the light guy and then probably change it to this guy. And if it's this guy, then we should probably change it to this guy. Yep. So let that guy be there, but we're not using this guy. We're going to use this guy. We use that guy for something else. Then we have this guy. This guy should be dark blue, right? And then send it to the back. See dark blue, deep blue. Send it to the back. Right. We're supposed to make the test white. Yeah. So text should be white. Same as this. Then the last but not the least, we have this guy. Send to back. I'm supposed to just send to the back, send to the back, send to the back, send to the back. All right. So this guy is going to be green. Yes, then we'll go here. Oh, okay. So this guy can be red though. So I think I know why now. So we can change this. Yeah. All right. So we can change this, make it white. Yeah. All right. So we know how the the keys now. So I'm going to. I'm so sorry, but I don't know why I love doing these things. And why is it not showing? Okay, let's give it black. Okay, so this, let's take it up a bit. I'm taking my time to actually do this so that you probably when you decide to reference back on this video, you will know what is going on. Right? I'm so sorry, but that's quite lengthy. Right? But then this guy, then take to this guy, and then take to this guy. Yep. So these are the four levels, yes. We know that these are authentication works. Go through the process. If you go through the process, then these are the type of authentications that we have and their rankings, right? Then what else do we have? What else do we have? So we have. I would have loved to explore most of these authenticators, right? I would have loved to do most of those things, but I can't start mirroring them on my phone right now. All right. So if you want to check out how Authenticator work, just either go to your Play Store or Apple Store and search for either Google Authenticator, which is like the most popularly used, Google Authenticator or Microsoft Authenticator, right? Google Authenticator or OAuth. Yes, Google Authenticator or OAuth. And then download it, set up, and enjoy. Yes. Now we move to the next and a very interesting topic. I call it the interesting topic because it's an interesting topic. It's an interesting topic, yes. So this guy, it is called the JWT tokens. Now, if you're familiar with, APIs, if you are interested in building APIs at some point or working with APIs at some point, you need to know this JWT token. So basically, what this means is JWT means I'm going. Let me just instead of writing token, let me just do. It's called JSON Web Token. Right. It's called JSON Web Token. Now, this is basically what JWT means, right? JWT, JSON Web Token. Now, JSON Web Token is how most of these APIs approve both requests that is coming in from a logged in user or without checking the database, right? So we use JWT to check. Okay, let me start again so that you get to understand it. A JWT, yes, is how most of these modern APIs prove that this request comes from a user that is logged in. For example, if you're logging into an account, right, it's easy for the API to or the system to just detect that, oh, this user is logged in already. Allow them to just go without checking the database, right? It uses the what we call the JWT token. It's more like it consists of your section, right? And this section consists of if you are logged in or you are not logged in, right? Sections are meant to see if you are logged in or you're not logged in, right? Now, inside your JWT token, we can use that to just easily. Someone can use your JWT token to log into your account. I'm so sorry, but this was not supposed to come out, but yes, it came out. Your JWT token is very important, and most attackers, what they do is they can use your JWT token to access your account and use that to do whatever they want to do on your account. So, like I said, it wasn't supposed to come out, but it came out. Yep. So, it's important that you know this and you know it works. Okay. So, like I said, we use that to check if a user is logged in without actually checking the database on every request. So once you hit user endpoint or login endpoint for a platform, right? What it does is it checks the JWT token, uses that to get your section and say, oh, okay, this user is logged in, just go in, right? Without having to go to the database to see if you exist or not, right? So that's that for that. It's always like JWT has like a format, right? JWT has like a format. It's always like three parts joined by dots. You get, so it's like three parts joined by dots. I would have showed you on my console, but this um this is restricted, so I'm trying not to expose so much on this stream, right? So JWT tokens are usually in this format. Say blah 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 dot dot like that, like that, right? So this JWT token probably will just consist of some things, right? Some things like this, right? So this is like a JWT token, right? Oh, did I hit duplicate? Right. Now, it is these three parts that you're seeing consist means three things. The first one, this section, this is indicating the headers, right? We have headers, this part, headers. Then this part have payload, and this part is called the signature, right? So we have the header. This header is like an algorithm token type, right? It's systematically generated, right? Then we have the payload. The payload is the one that now tells if the one that's the one that is carrying the user data, right? That's the one that carries the user data. That is the one that claims that, oh, this user is logged in, or this user exists already. This user has an account here, right? That's the payload, right? It is it's just like that payload is just a base 64 encoded type, right? It's just base 64 encoded, right? So it's not encrypted. It's not encrypted. And then we now have the last part, which is like the signature. The signature is the one that approves the token that wasn't tampered with. So if a token has not been tampered with, that's the signature. The last part, which is the signature, is the guy that approves it. Right. So the headers part is the algorithm and the type, the token type. What type of token is this? Is this a login token? Is this a whatever type of token, right? So you can take your time and look at the type of tokens, right, that we have. Type of tokens. We have token types. Token type, we have access token, right? We have ID tokens. We have refresh tokens. Now, each of these tokens have their work, right? Inside blockchain, we have utility token, we have governance token, we have stable coins, right? Apologies. Yes, I was talking about the token types that we have, and I was showing the token types that we have available, right? And amongst them, I said we have access token. That is for web authentication and API tokens, right? For web and API token, we have three types. We have the access token, right? These ones are short-lived keys that grant a user or app permission to a specific data or API. Then we have the ID tokens, right? These are data packed that is used to identify in the identity system, right? Then we have the refreshed tokens. These ones are long lived. These ones can stay. Refresh tokens can stay, I think, 4 days, five or more. Refresh token actually lasts long. Refresh token lasts long, very long actually. Right? How long? Okay. How long does a refresh token last? Refresh token, I know refresh token lasts for so long, right? You say 24 hours to over a year. I told you, this shit can last for, this shit can last for, based on how it's specified though, right? Yeah. It can even be said to never expire. Exactly. Depends on how it has been specified. But I know that this guy lasts for so long. So we've been able to dissect this JWT token, which is the JSON Web Token, right? We have the header part, which is the part that includes the algorithm and the token type. What type of token is this? Is this a refresh token? Is this an access token? Is this an ID token? Right. Then we have the payload, which is the one in the middle. That is the one that actually carries the user data. Right. That's the one that is carrying the user data. That's saying, oh, this user is logged in, this user is not logged in. Then we have the signature. The signature part is now the one that approves the token that wasn't tampered with. So if this token that is coming from the header and the payload has not been tampered with, right? The signature is the guy that signs it off and say, okay, this guy is good to go. To right. So, but there's an important thing that most people do misunderstand about this stage that this conversation that we're having right now. The most misunderstood part is that the payload is not encrypted, right? The payload is not encrypted. That is the most misunderstood part. The payload is not encrypted, meaning that anyone can decode it to a JWT, JWT, which is like JSON Web Token.io, right? And then read it. So it is always advised that when you're building an API, right, never you, never you put passwords, card numbers, or secrets in JWT payload. It is very important. The reason is that it can easily be decoded. Someone can copy this payload right now and go and decode it and have access to whatever resources that is on it. So it's always advised that you don't include, if you eventually start building APIs, you don't include passwords, card numbers, or secrets in JWT. That's the JWT payload, the payload itself. Don't include passwords, card numbers, or secrets. It's very important. Now, the signature only approves if it wasn't edited, right? The signature, what the signature does is, this signature that you're seeing here, what it does is, it only approves if this guy was not edited, right? It still does not save you from the content inside not being decoded. Do you understand? You can decode this, someone can decode this payload and have access to whatever information that is there, right? And then at the end of the day, the signature will still sign it off because they literally did not edit anything here in the token. They only extracted whatever information that was coming to the token, right? That's the dangerous part. Now, um, I would have loved to demonstrate this now. So let's demonstrate this. I'm coming. Let me demonstrate this. Let me find an application that I will be logged in into. Which application am I going to use now? Oof. Okay, this is tricky. I would have demonstrated this, but you know what? I won't do that. So what you can do on your end is